said multiple times, my name is Kat. This is called My Finest Hour. It's for my father. When it comes to drinking, somebody told me once to either back out or black out. I'm no alien to lunar cycles, and I'm quite acquainted with the Gregorian calendar, but I take a firm stance when I say October 31st was the darkest night of the year. I know little of these eclipses, but I am learning more about them every time they arise. Always eccentric. Light flares and cold faces, my body warmer than it's ever been, like an internal furnace or frying pan, clumsily firing out orders of slip and chips, freshly bruised, battered, with a side of martyr sauce, dripping in a little too much honesty, bound to irritate more organs than intended. Followed by a second course of blackout forest cakes, best served on a porcelain staircase, insides carefully plated around the main dish, flickering in and out of a three-course coma, just enough to see your scraps barely there. Handed over to your father to package up himself in fear of health and safety regulations, rationed and receipts attached, he tips the delivery boy far more than the meal was worth, and in his best critic's register says to the remains in his passenger seat, "How could you be so idiotic?" I'm aware this was not my finest hour. The last decade of seconds hasn't been much brighter. She claims I've been keeping both of you in the dark, yet treating me like a lighter. Found beside a dollar store cash register, cupping your hands around me, disregarding storms for spring showers, saying, "It just takes a few tries to get started, that's all." How long will you stay at this? How many tries before you realize maybe it's not the weather, but something rusted, a flaw in the sum of the parts that hold this shell together? A one-year warranty expired within the imprints of your fingertips. How tight have you been holding on? How long that you haven't noticed something falling apart in your own hand, withered away to a wick and flint you classify as a runner's body, training on treadmills where the end is only ever where you start. If you're such a bright girl, why can't you see the path I've laid out in front of you? With barely enough butane left, I respond, I can hardly see myself. This isn't a flame, but a bonfire in ashes. Starving in the spaces between coals, in need of a lot more oxygen than bellowing windpipes will permit. This could take more time than your patience is in town for. But when it arrives out of the blackouts, arises from the breakdowns in the dying moment of my finest hour, I promise to call you, speak to you in a tone like Hestia's or a grandfather in front of his cottage hearth, and tell you of the local forest fire, whose smoke has greeted the skyline and wooed away the darkness. You would be left in the living room with the fireplace on, and you'd be amazed at how quickly all the oxygen emptied into the room, all the lights dimmed, and every ounce of energy used up to keep these dying flames burning in my finest hour.